YouTube. So today I had a customer who said a mechanic did a rear wheel bearing on their car for him, and in order to do the rear wheel bearing on this car, there's certain things that have to come apart. And this vehicle, unfortunately, has been rusted really bad, and as you can see, that nut has never been touched, and that nut of the controlling arm hasn't been touched. As you can see on the side, it's still got the rust on it. You know what I mean? See that on the side there? If it didn't have that rust on it, you could see it. Here, that nut, as you can see, it hadn't been moved either. You know, when you put a socket or something on a nut like that, it leaves marks on there. So, even that nut there has never been changed, as you can see. Looks good and clear. There's one up here. And that nut's never been removed. You don't even see a wrench mark on it anywhere. So, well, even when we're done, certain nuts have to be removed in order to get the job to this point. As you can see over here, we've got this removed, lower control arm, and we've got this removed, and we've got this removed, and that. And that's to remove this whole hub here, spindle rather. Once you remove the spindle, then you can press out the wheel bearing, which is here. You got to take that and that out. You can press that wheel bearing out, but you have to put that on a press. And when you put that on the press, that press is what will be used to push that wheel bearing out, as well as reinstall that wheel bearing. So, as I was saying, this one has under the progress of being done. The problem with this one here is the head of that nut broke off there. You see that nut right there? Yeah, that broke off. That bolt should not have broke. That is a high strength bolt, because it's a bolt that holds your spindle control arm on there. And with it being broke, that just lets you know how bad the rust issue is. And as you can see on this side here, that one, you know, you can see the wrench marks there on there from where the wrench is trying to turn it. So anytime a wrench is used on a rusted nut, it's going to leave some type of marking, so that you can see that. You can see there, that was broke. And that's the problem about a rusted vehicle also. Whenever they get really bad like this, you run into dangers of pieces breaking, bolts breaking, which makes the vehicle utterly unsafe. So just wanted to share that with you. If you have any questions or comments, please post, chat. You see that hadn't been touched. That hadn't been touched. None of that stuff's been touched. So, alright, if you have any comments, please post, chat, subscribe. Other than that, YouTube, have a great day. Oh, and if you want to see how to do that wheel bearing, that's going to be on a different video. Keep looking at my channel. We'll have the continuation of the video about for a client who said they had their wheel bearing replaced on one side by one shop, and I can't see any evidence of that whatsoever. I mean, as you can see, those bolts haven't been touched. Like I said earlier previously, that bolt hasn't been touched. Got a little better light. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do a video on this light review. I bought this at Harbor Freight. It's like $27, but look at this thing. It is just immaculately bright. It's got 2 levels of brightness. Alright. And it also has a little light in the front. But anyway, that's not what this video is about right now. But as you can see, it provides superb light. Oh my gosh, I love this light. So anyway, the client brings their car in. They want to get the wheel bearing done. They said they had it done on this side, and the noise went up to the other side. Well, I don't see any evidence that the wheel bearing was done on this side, because as you can see, the bolts, they haven't been touched. If they had, the rust marks would be gone, and especially up there, you see that little bit of rust right there on the top of that. Yeah, that wouldn't be there. That'd be knocked out from the bolts. Okay, and as you can see, that one hasn't been removed either. So the problem that we're having here is on this side, because this vehicle is so rusted, that this bolt, which is a hardened bolt, the head of this bolt was so bad rusted, it just, metal fatigue just broke off there, as you can see. So while we were trying to take it out, and this side is so badly rusted that it's fused together for the most part. So I was under here looking, and I was like, well, how can I get this job done without taking that off? All data suggests that you take this wheel spindle off. And I was like, how can I take that off? Because I can't even get that nut out now because it's froze together. And if I take it out, it might do more damage, you know, getting it out, because it's going to be hard to find something to get it back in. And there's no telling, you have to cut it, grind it, or something to get that out. So I was thinking maybe I'd come over here and take the little snap ring out. Maybe I could, you know, remove it while the control arm is on the car. So don't think that's going to work either. But while I was inspecting this car, one thing I found was this heat shield was loose. And as you can see, this heat shield is falling down on the drive shaft. That right there will cause a noise, especially when driving. And as you can see, it has actually worn a hole in this metal heat shield. This heat, and it has actually cut the fuel tank. And we look up in there, here we can test this light out a different way. There we go. There we go. Look at that. You see that right there? That fuel tank is cut. This vehicle is very dangerous to drive, because if that fuel tank ruptures while you're driving, or gets cut while you're driving, you're going to have raw fuel shoot down onto the back of the car. And then we all know about gas and heat and fire and stuff like that. So as you can see, that has cut through there. It's cut through there. Oh, it's even got some damage there to the fuel tank itself. Like I said, it's just rusted. Yeah. All right, so we have this piece which is under this strap here, but when we come over here, it's just rusted out to the point where there's nothing holding it up, and it's falling down on your drive shaft. When you're driving along, this piece here spins. I'll see if I can simulate that by turning the wheel. Oh, it's not in gear right now, so. But if this car were in gear, as you turn the rear wheels, this piece here would turn. So that needs to be removed, and possibly a new heat shield installed over the gas tank. Like I said, that is a gas tank. You can see the marks where it's been rubbing on the drive shaft there, as well as the cut marks in the shield itself. So the wheel bearing itself, we might be able to repack and get it in there and reuse it, because I don't think that's where the noise was coming from, although I did feel a little rattle as I was moving it around. And I noticed the face of it was protruded out on one side, so I don't know if someone else tried to change this thing and wasn't able to do it, but we had to push that back in order to get the snap ring out. So, but again, I'm not sure, but since the customer has purchased the new wheel bearing, and that's what they requested and that's what they want, we're going to go ahead and figure out a way to get that wheel bearing in there with minimum damage to the vehicle. So just wanted to share that. This video is primarily for the customer, although it's on the channel. Anyone else have a vehicle that's rusted, you know what type of hell you go through. So until next time, YouTube, have a great day. Just wanted to share that with you. I guess my point of the video is being, sometimes you think that it's one problem like a wheel bearing or something, but you know, you need to inspect for other things, because you never know what you'll find. Alright, any questions, comments, please post, chat. Until next time, have a great day.